it's Dustin with TechMD. We are repairing a OnePlus 9 Pro today. Finally got my hands on this phone, and we are going to be putting a new screen on. My supplier that I was providing these, getting these from, did not have the frames in stock, and to be honest, it seems like a nightmare replacing the frame. But if your phone is bent, I highly recommend replacing that frame, and this video is probably not for you. But if your screen is not, or your phone is not bent or heavily dinged on your frame, then just replace the screen itself. Easy peasy, right? This is not the right screen. Okay, so this is what the screen looks like here. Pull that out. It's telling us we're gonna should test this before installing. Always recommend doing that. That's where your fingerprint reader is, your cable. Looks like we're not gonna have to do a ton of work on this device to get this opened up and worked on. So we're gonna go ahead and just set this off camera. And the thing that you want to do is we want to warm up that back to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly about 90 degrees Celsius. So this heater I do have linked in the description. And so it just sits on the heater here, and we just wait for it to warm up. Usually takes about 3 minutes to do so. I'm actually filming on an S22 Ultra today, so hopefully it looks really good and crisp and clean for you guys. You're gonna need several tools. I like to use the iPlastix tool to open up the back, and then an iFlex tool to initially get in, just something sharp to get through the adhesive. Probably going to be a 00 screwdriver. So I use grip tools, some of the best in the industry, and I have the least amount of problems with them. So let's just wait that out and let that warm up. Okay, now that we got this warmed up enough, you can wear a glove if you feel the burning sensation. It is pretty toasty. I just like to enter in one little spot here. And it doesn't actually sit down very well, surprisingly. It's very loose. It's like OnePlus sent this phone back and didn't even bother to fix it properly. This individual sent his phone in, and they didn't fix it for whatever reason. We're not sure why. So he brought it in to me because he actually found somebody who can do it. This is really thick. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's glass or plastic, but it's really nice quality. This reminds me of the S10 Plus or S10 5G version. All right, so let's get our 00 screwdriver. This antenna is popping up already. Now, if your phone is still on, go ahead and let it die. If you don't have that opportunity to let it die and you have to fix it now, then I would recommend, unscrewing all the rest of these screws to turn it off by unplugging the battery. But since this phone is already off, we don't need to actually do that. I'd highly recommend watching this video all the way through, understanding all the parts and tools you need before attempting it. And if you feel like you're not comfortable with it, then you can send it to us. So I just removed these screws here, the 7 screws, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, yep. I can count. Let's lift that piece up and just bend that out of the way. And we're gonna go ahead and pop this off and get this speaker out of the way. This is very similar to the OnePlus 8 Pro, as I remember. I'm gonna go ahead and pop out this SIM tray just in case it's holding on to anything. I am getting some resistance here when getting this out. It's my very first time opening this phone, and I've never watched any videos on how to fix it. Okay, so once again, very similar to the OnePlus 8. I don't see the cable where it plugs in, so it looks like I'm gonna have to dive deeper. And we're gonna go ahead and disconnect some cables here. Looks like a fingerprint sensor reader, possibly. Not sure what this red tag is indicating here, but we're gonna remove it. Okay, you want to hold on to that or that goes flying. That was nice of it. Oh man, come look at this. That's why OnePlus didn't fix it.
What is it?
See that cable clipped?
Mm-hmm.
That cable's been totally clipped.
Okay. What does that mean?
Means I can't fix it. I don't have that cable. Have you attempted the repair?
No, I've never had.
So they actually did this to you?
I would assume so. I don't know how that would be clipped with dropping it.
Wow. That's crazy. No, it is. They definitely would have had to do that. I don't even know what this cable's called. But it is a very important one. It hooks up to your antennas and everything else. All right, guys, recap. This cable was clipped and it had a little red piece on there. He claims he had never opened it. He also claims that he bought it straight from Verizon, and I'm really confused because it was a little loose like getting in, but he also said that he sent it to OnePlus and they returned it saying it was not fixable or whatever. So anyone can solve the mystery. Did OnePlus screw this customer? I don't know, but this cable's $3, so I told him I'll just charge him 10 bucks extra. We're gonna proceed with the screen repair like this is not an issue, and then we'll tackle this cable here later and dig through the phone a little bit more. Okay, so from what I understand, this piece here should just lift straight up. Just be careful. We don't want to be breaking anything. I'm just hitting on the edges only with my tweezers. I already removed the SIM card tray out as well. Okay, so we're just setting that aside. If you need to replace the charge port, this cable here is going to come out and you'll have to plug it in up here. But it's pretty straightforward. It's just you have to remove that piece there, the antenna flex, which his phone should turn on and function, but then we didn't read service here because that cable is broken. Now this screen wants me to test it before installing it. So what I need to do is put it on temporarily with no glue underneath in order to test it. So next step is we're gonna raise the temperature. I like to raise it to the maximum on this pad, which is about 240. or roughly 120 degrees Celsius. I do believe. Let's check on that. $115. So, but I've worked with 240 all the time. And I've worked for 120 degrees Celsius. Somehow this machine can go to Celsius. If anyone knows how to change it to Celsius, that's great. I did it on accident one day. I don't know. But it's pretty nice. I bought it on Amazon. I bought the ones from Mendrick Gadgets and Mobile Centrics, but I really like the ones from them. So in order to test, you'll need to remove that this tape here, and we're gonna just plug the screen in with no glue, and we're gonna test it and see if it works. For now though, we're gonna wait for the phone to warm up where it's hot to the touch. It's gonna make it easier to separate that glue and replace the screen. All right, so now that we got it nice and toasty, this screen's gonna slice off like butter. Doing glass only repair, good luck. I don't know anyone who could, but that would be one reason why you'd want to buy the frame, so you could preserve the glass and sell it, but I don't know anyone who can buy them. So it's kind of pointless. This glass, even though it being so hot right now, still does not want to come up. Glued on there pretty well. Let it sit on there for about 5 minutes to help me get inside this darn thing, and it's still giving me trouble. I figured it'd be glued on real well like the other OnePluses. This is extra glued on. I don't know how you would save this screen. Well, this glass still stayed on the frame, so come at it with an iseasmo tool here. Try to dig it out. Okay, next part is we are going to take microfiber cloth. You can get the Costco ones or these little tiny ones here. Take a little bit of 99% isopropyl alcohol, avoid the camera, and wipe down. No glass shards whatsoever anywhere, guys. It's a good way to break your new screen. All right, just carefully take this apart, and if you need to send it back, you do not want to glue this down. So you want to just be careful about disassembling it and not touching the fingerprint reader. Slide this cable right through that hole. Place the screen down very carefully. Make sure it sits flush. Make sure your frame is not bent. That's always a good thing. Sitting flush. Now, I'm not going to put the other piece on because I don't think you need it to test it. Let's just hope. It goes underneath the battery here, it looks like, so I don't think we need it to test it. Looking promising. It's charging. I got on a 100-watt charger, so charge pretty fast at that. All right, we're finally getting it to turn on after charging for a little bit. The goal here is to test the screen and make sure it's all working. Maybe he said T-Mobile, not Verizon. No dead pixels, looks really good. And then you just want to test the touch, and then you're going to start the glue process and whatnot. Since he'll not be back for his phone for a little bit because I got to get the cable, I am not going to glue it down, and we'll just end this with part 1. Part 2 will be assembling the phone and gluing everything back down and fixing that cable as well. Please watch that if you need to confirm on how to glue everything down and make sure everything is watertight. Okay guys, thanks for watching part 1. Part 2 will be out later on. Thank you.